the Work Wonders podcast, brought to you by Asta HR, where we simplify the human side of business. I'm Angela.
And I'm Susan. Let's dive into today's episode and find out what you've been wondering about.
In today's episode, we're going to explore the difference between management and leadership, because there is a difference, but we believe you definitely need both. So let's explore that. This is the Work Wonders podcast.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, Susan.
How are we going today?
Good. So we're going to talk about leadership and management.
One of our favourite topics. Yeah. Often we use them interchangeably, don't we?
Yeah, I've heard it said that they're the same thing.
I don't think they are. But I think there's aspects of both in whatever you do if you're managing, or if you're in a position of power is probably the best way to put it. So would you have a definition off the cuff?
Oh, look, I think, just my own sort of definition. I think leading or leadership is when you are inspiring people and you're taking them along with you on a journey. It's quite different, whereas I think management is more operational when I think of it.
Okay.
It's more the managing of something, making sure that compliance is happening or things are treading along.
Accountability, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The way I think of it is that you can't be a leader if you don't have followers.
Oh, yeah. That's a very good point.
So we were at a conference recently.
We were.
And we did a little role play.
Yes, we did. That was
sort
fun.
of covered this, which we're going to revisit in a minute. But I think I'd like to emphasise as we go through that something I've noticed is that we tend to glorify leadership and say management is like, you just got to, anyone can do that.
Yes.
But only certain people are leaders, They're either a born leader or develop your leadership skills, that sort of thing. Whereas we need both.
We do.
They're both really important.
And I agree with you. I would often say just because a person has manager in their title does not mean that they are leading or they are a leader. You need to be able to have that skill and bring that along with your title and the duties that you have in the role of a manager because it's so important. I agree with you.
But we also have met all those people who think they're great leaders or, emphasise the leadership skills, but can't do the other side of things. So we're going to dive into this role play.
And as we go through it, you'll probably think about one, maybe two people in your history that you've worked with that maybe wasn't so nice, or maybe some that were. So that might be fun.
I also think you might think of aspects of yourself.
Yeah,
because
true.
when we did this before, I knew that, I've done this. So some of the things that we're talking about might be negative or feel negative, but you need to face that side of yourself as well. Or at least I did when we did it before.
So
one
of us is going to be the manager or the boss, and one of us is going to be a leader, and we won't tell you which till the end, so see if you can spot the difference. All right, Susan, so I'll kick us off. So in my role, imagine that I'm someone that's quite open to new ideas. I'm receptive to learning things from other people, and I don't shy away from that.
Is that right?
Yes, I do, apparently.
I prefer to, really know it all.
Right.
So I assume that I'm the expert on every topic because I'm the boss.
Right.
So, I know it all.
Right. So you don't need anything else. For me, two-way communication is important. I like to set really clear expectations and I listen to you when you're telling me about your needs if you're in my team.
Oh, my goodness. That's a bit radical. So because I know everything, then I'm going to communicate just in one direction.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell.
So I can't talk to you. I can't ask questions and ask things?
I'd prefer you didn't.
Right, okay.
I mean, you might show how little you know if you ask me questions.
Oh, okay. Well, see, for me, on my side of the fence, I want to encourage you. I want to motivate you. I want you to bring out your best. So I'm going to encourage you to do that.
Well, I want you to bring out your best too, but it has to be what I think is best.
Oh, okay.
So I really want to, make sure that you meet my standards. And if you don't, you're going to hear about it.
Oh.
I can be quite critical, but that's how I keep you in line.
What if there's another way to do things, I wonder? Well, I will make sure in my position that I am working to your strengths. If you're in my team, I am going to help you apply those to your job and do the best with them that you can because you're great. And I'll build you up. Like I say, I'm going to encourage you. You're here for a reason.
Yeah, that's all too touchy-feely. Who's got time for that? We just got to get the job done. So I'm going to be telling you what's wrong and where you need to improve.
Right. It's a bit of a running theme with you. Okay. Well, what about I want to not just help you and encourage you, but when things are hard and problems come about, I'm going to help you, guide you through that, and I'm going to be supportive and not just blame you for doing it wrong.
Well, again, what a waste of time because I already know everything.
Of course you do.
That's how I got promoted to be manager. So I'm just going to micromanage, make sure you do it all my way.
Oh.
My way or the highway.
Right.
I'm looking over your shoulder.
I can sense that.
Yes. And if you haven't done it and you haven't done it on time and you haven't done it the way I expect it to be done, well, there'll be consequences, won't there?
Oh, geez, it sounds like you're my parent. Okay. Well, look, mistakes do happen, so I'm going to be a bit matter-of-fact about that. I'm going to learn from that. Let's reflect on it as a team and make the most of that opportunity. What can we learn and do differently? But I'm going to take accountability for where I went wrong because, we're all human.
But don't you understand that being boss gives you the opportunity to just blame everyone else for what went wrong? Why would I take responsibility for what I've done, things going wrong, when there's someone further down the line that I can blame for it?
Well, being part of a team to me is about the collective. We're a we, not a me. So I'm going to focus on our team and what we can achieve. We're going to celebrate that together. We're not all, yes, we're individuals, but we're not, working alone. We're all working together. That's my focus.
Yeah, well, I think, sometimes you just got to look after yourself, So it's, personal goals and looking after my own agenda and my career. I know all this team stuff that people talk about, but it comes down to getting the job done and getting what I want out of it. So I'm not really that interested.
But in order to get the job done, I think it's better to inspire people, to tap into why they're here, to lead by example. Again, I want to provide guidance. I don't want to make it a scary place to be. I want them to want to be here, to be excited about where we're going and what we're going to achieve. Surely that's going to bring me a good result.
Yes, well, the way I get results is demanding them. Okay? So it's just as clear-cut as that. I expect the team to go above and beyond because that's the standard that I set, and I'm going to hold them accountable to it.
You sure are. Oh, well, as you can tell, we can't hold on to that for too long. That's quite funny. I wonder if you can tell who was the manager and who was the leader in that scenario.
I think that was probably pretty obvious. And I would just like to say that I wasn't speaking from my preferred way of acting, although my children might have different ideas about that. But isn't it interesting? Because as you go through that, you think, oh, yeah, I've done that. Oh, I haven't done that. So
or maybe even not overtly, but you might have had those thoughts of like, oh, can't you just get the job done?
Oh, yeah. Well, we've all had that, haven't we?
Yeah, that's understandable.
How did you get into your business? Sometimes it's because you're great at a particular thing or you've got a passion for something and you know that you can do it a little better than what other people are already doing. Now that you're in business, you've discovered there's a lot more to it than just having the right skills, especially when you've hired a team. You might have learnt the financial skills that you need because you've had to, basically, but where do you go to develop the HR and the leadership skills that you need? If you're feeling overwhelmed in managing people and all the other things that come with running a business, we can help you. We'll guide you through the skills you need to feel more confident in leadership. go and check out the coaching page on our website or schedule a call with us at asterhr.com.au. Now it's back to the episode. So one of the other interesting things about what happened at the conference, well, if that last bit was interesting to you, I guess I'm assuming that we had fun with it, was that we asked the audience what traits they thought made a good leader.
We did.
And I think some of them we thought, oh, yeah, that's what we're expecting. But there are a few in there as well that weren't what we're expecting. So should we have a look at what came up?
A few of the top things were inspirational, but authentic was another one that came up, which I thought was really interesting.
Hard to define that one.
Yeah, so trustworthy, ethical, respectful, honest, those sorts of things were coming up.
Mm-hmm. And collaborative. So that's one of the things that came out in that little role play we just did. But that they also should be compassionate. Yeah. That was interesting because that was that had multiple votes or, suggestions.
Another one was courageous.
Yeah.
And wise. So there is definitely an aspect there where they want their leader to be, the visionary, the one taking them somewhere.
Definitely. And I noticed we've also got unique.
Yeah.
Somebody said. Some that I was more surprised about was intelligent.
Ah, yes.
Because I think sometimes we tend to measure intelligence according to our own
yes.
measures,
That's a good point. So, but it's that age-old thing of did they, like you were saying in the role play, were they promoted because they've been here the longest and that's just the natural progression, or do they show the skills of a leader?
Yeah, exactly. And also, is it emotional intelligence or are they smart about the job? Yeah. Two completely different things. Another one that also surprised me given the audience was strong.
Yeah.
So I guess that's like the courageous one. But that answer, indicated that someone wanted a strong leader.
Yeah, looking for security, I guess. So I'm happy to go along and play my part in the team, but I'm looking for a leader that can, shelter us when something goes wrong or take charge and reassure us and those sorts of things, I'm assuming.
This reminds me of something from Harrison Assessments because there's a trait that we measure that's called wants capable leader.
Yeah.
And that's a really useful trait if you know what that person thinks of as a capable leader.
Ah, yes.
So for different people, leadership is different things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that person who wants someone strong, they're going to value certain things. Someone who wants a leader who's compassionate, they're going to have a different set of core values, their personal values.
Yeah.
So when we're doing those Harrison profiles, then it makes it a lot easier for us to go, well, this person will match well with this leader because we know they possess those traits that the person in question values. So you're building a much better leader-follower relationship.
Yeah. So, look, there's obviously a lot of negative things that we found in that role play on the manager side of things, but there are parts to it that are definitely necessary. Let's unpack that a little bit.
So you're talking about holding people accountable, having standards.
Yes, absolutely. And being the one in charge in terms of I'm taking that position of the team authority and I'm here driving us all forward, being accountable for your own actions, but I guess understanding that these are the objectives we need to meet as a team, and are we going to get there?
Yeah, I think most people need that. There's always a lot of uncertainty in workplaces at the moment, especially, but it helps if people know, some sort of general direction, and what it's going to take to achieve that, I guess.
I guess on the flip side, I mean, we've seen there from the conference and those questions or the comments that came out of what people are looking for. There's probably a lot more on the leader side that people are looking for, and that might have been indicative of the audience we were with, or the temperature of workplaces at the moment. But if we were too far on the leadership side and just all those lovey-dovey things, like you said in the role play, I guess that would be negative too. It needs to have the balance.
Yeah, definitely. The yin and the yang.
Yeah.
And actually, in one of our recent episodes, we talked about psychosocial safety.
We did.
And I was just reflecting on how management contributes to that as well. So that whole aspect of people knowing where they stand.
Yeah, absolutely, because there's a lot more than just getting the job done. It's about keeping people physically and mentally, like emotionally, I guess, sort of safe in the workplace as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what you're talking about there. So,
And you need both leadership.
yeah.
You know, there are all those nice characteristics of a good leader that we talked about, but you also need to have clarity.
And we also, I think it was in our interview with Selena, we talked about emotional intelligence quite a lot. So that might be an episode worth going back and having a listen to if that piques your interest as we're talking here.
Yeah, excellent.
So we hope today's discussion has given you a chance to reflect on your own style and what elements of management and leadership you bring into the workplace.
So are there more leader traits you'll begin to use? Or perhaps you need to remember to bring more of your manager traits to your team.
And we'll be sure to put those thoughts that we've discussed today in the show notes. Thanks for listening to the Work Wonders podcast, brought to you by Asta HR. Hit the subscribe button now to never miss an episode. And if you'd like to continue the conversation with us, you can find us over at astahr.com.au. See you in the next episode.